Hello and welcome to this brief video on vocabulary. In this video, we'll address basic information on vocabulary expectations and where these can be found in the Ontario curriculum. We'll also touch on best practices for teaching and assessing vocabulary. Let's begin with the basics of vocabulary. There are differing thoughts on how to define the word vocabulary. Some dictionaries define it as the words of a language, while others view it as an individual's lexicon of words that can be used for listening and reading. Developing vocabulary involves learning new words and understanding their meanings when reading, listening, writing, and speaking. Vocabulary and knowledge are intertwined. In 2005, Stephen Stahl wrote that vocabulary knowledge is knowledge. The knowledge of a word not only implies a definition, but also where that word fits into the world. Vocabulary knowledge grows and deepens over a lifetime and is never fully mastered. Vocabulary plays a critical role in language comprehension. It is essential for understanding spoken language and text, and for learning to read. Once students decode a word, they must connect it to a word in their oral vocabulary. When words are a part of a student's oral vocabulary, they can more quickly and easily decode and understand them. Now we'll focus on where vocabulary is found in the language curriculum. Vocabulary can be found in Strand B, Foundations of Language. In grade 1, the words that students acquire, understand, and use as a result of having been explicitly taught them are commonly used words. In subsequent grades, the words move from commonly used words to include a variety. Throughout all grades, students use their developing morphological knowledge in order to analyze and understand new words based on context. The Language Foundations continuum elaborates on the specific expectations. In all grades, students learn the meaning of new words and deepen their understanding of familiar words by relating these to known words and concepts. They demonstrate an understanding of the meaning of words by sorting, categorizing, and classifying them based on semantic features. Students also use semantic features of words to link new words to previously learned ones. They recognize that certain words have multiple meanings, which at times cross over different parts of speech or grammatical functions. For example, I tripped on some rocks, where rocks is a noun, or this movie rocks, where it's a verb. And finally, students use words flexibly, adding new meanings to previously learned words, enhancing the depth of their vocabulary. Vocabulary instruction involves more than looking words up in the dictionary in order to use them in a sentence. But what does the research say about how we should teach it? Vocabulary should be taught systematically through a carefully planned sequence that considers both utility as well as content. New vocabulary is taught using an explicit instructional routine with direct modeling, guided practice, and purposeful individual practice. Students also learn new words incidentally, for example, through rich oral language experiences such as read-alouds and through their own reading. How do we know which words to teach? Researchers have identified different tiers of words. Tier 1 words are words that are typically found in spoken language. These are common and likely familiar words. Tier 2 words are words that are high utility and useful across many subjects. They are not likely to be encountered in spoken language. These words are the most important to teach in greater detail. Tier 3 words are specific to particular subject areas. We would want to define these briefly. When it comes to the number of words that can be taught in a school year, researchers tend to agree that about 2 words a day or 10 a week can be taught directly. Some students will enter school with smaller vocabularies than their peers. Early intervention to support oral vocabulary growth is essential for these students, as low early vocabulary is a risk factor for future academic outcomes. New vocabulary must be taught using an explicit instructional routine. This is characterized by direct modeling, guided practice, and purposeful individual practice. Steps might include the following: introduce the word and write the word for students to read. Encourage the students to pronounce it. Discuss its features, including its spelling, part of speech, morphemes, etymology, and cognates. Next, provide a student-friendly definition and consider showing an image, followed by using the word in a number of different examples. Check student understanding by asking examples and non-example questions. And finally, have the students use the word orally and in sentences. Growing success reminds us that the primary purpose of assessment is to improve student learning. How can we assess vocabulary in order to guide our instruction? Assessing vocabulary is critical. However, it can be challenging. Multiple assessment methods should be used in order to gain a comprehensive view of students' vocabulary knowledge, understanding, and application. Some commonly used methods of vocabulary assessment might include reading comprehension measures, the analysis of writing samples, vocabulary tests, word lists, and through conversation and oral speaking tasks, for example, following a set of instructions. To sum up, vocabulary plays a critical role both in learning to read and in language and reading comprehension. We want to create vocabulary-rich learning environments where students are directly taught new words and where they are exposed to a variety of different words. We come across many more words in print than we do in spoken language, and there are more words to be learned than we can directly teach. Effective instruction is explicit and systematic, and additionally, we want to foster word learning strategies and word consciousness in our students so that they are able to take advantage of opportunities to learn new words independently. Thanks for listening and for continuing to build your understanding in order to meet the needs of your students.